Before I start this video, shout out to the amazing Lucas for making this video right here, bro. Witty fam, Spotty Squad, YouTube, what's good? So the amazing Lucas is gonna be talking about 3 things that they must change before they make a sequel. You know, they talking about Insomniac, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna speak about the video afterwards, bro. So let's get straight into it. I wanna hear his thoughts. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna agree with him. And let's get into it.
So today, guys, I'm gonna cover 3 things that must change in the next Spider-Man game. And I mean must. Oh my goodness. So guys, I can already hear you complaining already, already. I get what you're saying. Lucas, how are you gonna say what needs to be changed if the game isn't even out?
You know they're gonna say that.
But what I'm gonna be discussing is stuff that we already know for a fact and stuff that we already know for a fact that is not going to be in the game. So once the game comes out September 7th, nothing's gonna change. So bear with me. So guys, let's start off with number 1. That is going to be car chases.
Okay.
I'm sick and tired of them. Guys, you have to understand that the car chase mechanic, that started with Spider-Man 2, right? And it's been in every single game up until now, Spider-Man PS4, and nothing has changed. I mean, Web of Shadows tried to change it up a bit where it wasn't a quick time event, it was still just live gameplay of you bouncing off the car. That was stupid because there's no reason for you to bounce off the car and then web swing and then bounce off the car. It was just a dumb, poor mechanic, but they tried. Now, what I'm not saying is completely eradicate and get rid of all the car chase, sequences in Spider-Man games. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they need to be reworked because that scene in Spider-Man 1 where he's chasing, the car, and that scene is awesome. I want to experience that, and if we have yet to get a game, even in Spider-Man PS4, I know I may get, hate comments or whatever for saying that, but even in Spider-Man PS4, they haven't really given us that experience.
Right.
Now that I've stated the problem, I always like to give a little solutions, just those stuff at the wall, see if it sticks. One idea that I have would be like a web wall, to implement a web wall where you're web swinging, you see a car chase, and you're busy, you have something else to do, but you don't want to let the guy get away. So you push, I don't know, L1 or something, and you shoot out a web wall. It'll be a web line that goes from one building to the next and it blocks off the road, right? So the car will go into it and they catch him, the police catch him, end of story. Or you can have, another idea would be like a little web spike, where you do a little, the web spikes in Need for Speed that they put down, the police put down. Something like that. Will be like a little web line, so that when the car goes over it, it catches up into the tires and stops them. Something simple like that doesn't really, impede gameplay. Because let's say I'm web swinging, and I see something going on. I don't want to, I already have a mission that I'm going to, but I don't want to let this guy get away. So I do a little web wall, a little web spike, and that's it. Now, on top of that, you can have different levels of this. We can go on and on and on, because now, let's say you do a web wall. Well, now the criminal can, let's say, stop, turn around or something, and start going the other way. Now it forces you to go down there and do the little quick time event or whatever they want to do. The same thing with the web spike. Well, now the criminal can swerve around it. Some criminals can swerve around it and keep on going. Now it forces you to abandon the mission you were going to and focus on this guy to stop them. Another thing that I noticed is that a lot of the quick time events with the car chases, well, the car is like it's like a NASCAR driver or something. It's like a professional driver behind this car, because this person is going 80 miles an hour and hitting these turns, not ramming into cars, nothing. We even see this in Spider-Man PS4 where the guy is just making these sharp turns, nothing, just obeying traffic lights and all of this. It's just yo, what danger is this guy doing? I get that he's robbed the bank, but come on, you would think that he'd be a little more erratic with his driving. And that's one thing I think Spider-Man 3 did very well, because you could see the imminent danger. Because this car, while you're on top of it, it's bamming into other cars, bam, and he's trying to get away. It's hey, yo, now it's become a danger for everyone else. And now I see why I have to web this guy up or stop this car in some way, shape, or form. Now, another thing I'd like to have is give me some options to stop this car. I don't want to see the same quick time event every single time, because it got repetitive in Spider-Man 2. I'm sure it's going to get repetitive to a certain extent in Spider-Man PS4. I've seen the same quick time event of him stopping it or him webbing it. Give us some options that the player can choose, whether maybe or not, maybe we want to web down the tires and stop it from there. Or another example, it was in, I believe it was in TASM 2, where he's with Rhino directing the car or something. Maybe he busts through, you know, the windshield or something, and web zips the steering wheel and is steering the car somehow or something like that. Be like creative with these scenes, because there is nothing more monotonous and just dead than seeing Spider-Man on top of the car, and regardless of what pose you have him on top of the car and him just doing a quick time event, punching people, webbing them up behind him. Like, you gotta be a little more innovative than that. There has to be some levels, some complexity to this car chase. You know, when it comes to Spider-Man 2, you know, when he's web swinging and he web shoots the guys, you know, in the face, little web balls, bam, bam. Give us something like that where we can now have a transition from that, find them on top of the car, and then web swinging them up to a lamppost overhead or something like that, and the car stops and you know, spins or something like that. Like, give us something. Another example is when in Spider-Man, I believe it was Spider-Man 2, where the car flips over and Spider-Man webs up the car before it hits civilians. So give us something, give us some options, you know, give us, like, let us feel this out. Let us actually feel like Spider-Man and not like, yo, this is a quick time event where, you know, okay, dodge for the bullets, bam, 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 boom. Like, we've seen all that. That needs to be redone. If they don't redo that in the next Spider-Man game, like they need to. There is no option. Like I said, this is a must. These are things that must happen. So moving on, number 2 on the list, and this is of course not in order of importance, but number 2 on the list is going to be, we have to have Peter Parker transition. Like, have to. End of story. Non-negotiable. Now, what I mean by that is that the days of, you know, playing as Spider-Man and then having these little mini sections of you playing as Peter Parker, that's dead. That's gotta die. I'm sorry, it's a non-negotiable. And you can't say that, oh, it can't be done. You can't just switch on the fly. It absolutely can be done. So I don't want to hear the BS. They can absolutely design a game around where you're playing as Peter Parker. You have missions at Peter Parker, whether it's, you know, taking pictures or, you know, he's working at the lab or something like that, where you can have events where something blows up. Now as Peter Parker, you have to go into an alleyway or something like that. Because one thing in Spider-Man 2 that I love is the scene where he goes in the alleyway, he takes, you know, you see the Spider-Man symbol, puts on the mask, and something like that. If they can recreate that in the game, I'm telling you, that is the ultimate Spider-Man experience. The ultimate Spider-Man experience of going as Peter Parker, say something pops up on your map. Now, you have to run down, find an alleyway. It'll do like a little transitional sequence or something like that, where he, you know, removes his clothes, webs up his backpack or whatever, it webs up his clothes to the wall, and then jumps out and goes and starts web swinging. And then the same thing, you go to web swinging, it's like, oh, I have a meeting with Mary Jane. You go down, web swinging in an alleyway, transition into Peter Parker, and go out in the street. That is what we need in the next Spider-Man game. Anything less than that, I'm not gonna buy it, and neither should you, because it's been too long. Like, we've been saying this since Spider-Man 2. Like, we need to have this in the next installment, and we're gonna have probably next-gen consoles. So there's no excuse for that. So guys, the last thing on the list, and that is gonna be web swinging. Now, I can hear what you're saying. What's wrong with web swinging? Web swinging is fine. That's exactly my point. Web swinging is fine. It was fine in Spider-Man 2. It's fine in, you know, every other game up until this point. There's never been a moment where web swinging was just completely off. Even with the Amazing Spider-Man, where webs were attaching to the sky, it wasn't like, oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. With Amazing Spider-Man 2, it was not like, you know, it was horrible. It was web swinging. Like, they've gotten it. With Spider-Man PS4, we get it. We understand that companies know how to do web swinging. Let's add on top of that, right? Once you learn a move, a karate move or whatever, a punch, well, then you start learning combos, right? An uppercut, a jab, cross, and you start learning combos, so you start advancing your skill set. Same thing needs to apply with web swinging. But what I'm talking about is like feeling that this is my city. Like, this is a jungle that I am maneuvering around. Right. And the best way to show that is what was shown in the TASM end scene, where he's, you know, running along this, he's jumping off of, you know, the buildings and stuff like that. He's maneuvering through like this hard obstacle course from what it seems. And another great way that this was shown was in Spider-Man 1, where you can see that now he's Spider-Man. Now he's swinging low down to the cars. He's jumping off of billboards. Like, this is his city. He's interacting with the city. Now, one thing I have to give credit to Insomniac for doing is trying to implement this in, on a lower scale. When it comes to him, swinging through billboards and stuff like that, or him going through the web tunnel on like construction sites and stuff like that. Like, I get that. If we can implement that and take that a step further, like if they could like level up that mechanic, that would be awesome. Where you're, that scene in Spider-Man 2, which is I thought it's absolutely iconic, where he's webbing through the truck. Like if they can implement that
that's
in a game where he's jumping off of, billboards, and it's stuff like that where it shows like, hey, it's just not just me web swinging, like this is my city. Like I know what that street leads down, I know what that street leads down to, like I know how to maneuver through this. So I want the web swinging to be challenging. And I get that there's a younger audience, but that's what they need to address. You either have a kid mode web swinging, or you have an older version web swinging. It's the same thing that they did in Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, I believe, kid web swinging or a little more challenging web swinging. And they need to bring that challenge towards web swinging. So it's not like, I get that once you master web swinging and the web zip, you can move faster and stuff like that. But what about the complexities to the city? Because not every city, is lined up as a block. Not every city you can web swing to. So there should be some mechanics where, he's actually, finagling himself through the city and using everything that he's learned as Spider-Man to get around the city. Now, having said that, one mechanic that I think would definitely add on top of the web swinging would be something that I've titled, the Spidey drive-by. And it's been shown before in movies. It was primarily in Spider-Man 1 where he's web swinging and he zips up these burglars who are trying to rob the store. He goes back, gives them the money, and jumps off. Like, there's plenty of times where you're web swinging, something pops off. Maybe you don't have enough time to go help these people. You just want to, do a Spidey drive-by where you go down in slow motion, bam, web zip that guy, web up that guy, and then go back to web swinging. It'll be a beautiful mechanic. Imagine that mechanic done, but now in a car chase scene, where now, you're web swinging, you go down, slow-mo, like in Red Dead or something like that, where it's like slow-mo, you're web zipping, web zip the steering wheel, web zip the guy in the front, the back, and go on into web swinging after you're done. So that's done, he's covered, the cops come and they get him. Like something like that. They need to start to innovate the game mechanic. I think a Spidey drive-by would be, obviously you probably maybe wouldn't call it that, but you get the point of that mechanic, and I think that would be, a great addition into the Spider-Man games. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think, whether or not you like some of the ideas, or if you have I think it's fine where it is, or if you have any ideas of your own. Let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Until next time, guys, be amazing. The Spidey drive-by.
Seriously though. Hey, Lucas, bro. Every single point that you just made, bro, was on point. Like, there was A1 points. I agree with everything you just said, bro. Everything. They need to innovate on the web swinging. I mean, yes, the web swinging is amazing. Like, we know that. But like you just said, they need to innovate. They need to add more to it. Another thing that I wanted to say was, I thought you was going to say it was the fall damage. They need to add the fall damage, bro. Come on, let's be real. You think if Spider-Man jump off the Empire State Building, he's not going to die if he hit the ground? Woo! Insomniac, come on now. But I love y'all, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree with everything. The car chasing, everything, bro. It was spot on. The Peter Parker and Spider-Man transition, that's like the greatest idea of all time, bro. Seriously, that's the greatest idea of all time. Like, I 100% agree with that, bro. It'll make the game more realistic, basically. 100 times more realistic, bro. I swear, bro. I swear it'll make the game more realistic. If you haven't already, go subscribe to the Amazing Lucas channel. His link will be in the description, and his video link will be in the description as well. There's so many things they could do with a sequel, man. I swear to God, bro. But if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you new and want to join Witty fam. And please hit that notification button after you subscribe to the channel to get notified of when I stream and upload. It's your boy Joseph Witty, man. I'm out of here. Exactly. It's lit.
Next time you get in my way, I will not be so gentle.
Girl problems again.
Gotcha. Shut up. She got some bangers.
Hands up.
Yeet.